camera fell in love with her face.
There are 12 1970s rock bands you need to hear. While big names ruled the decade, hidden pioneers helped shape the scene in fresh ways. Let's disclose each group's background, sound, and legacy, and get ready for an exciting adventure through underrated rock history. Big Star.
Take a fast train, the only days are gone.
Formed in Memphis during the early 70s, Big Star created melodic guitar pop that critics adored but mainstream radio overlooked. Alex Chilton and Chris Bell led an honest, soulful approach to writing, resulting in albums like Number One Record, 1972, and Radio City, 1974. Their tracks blended chiming riffs with introspective lyrics, capturing youthful hopes and bittersweet reflections. Unfortunately, distribution woes and minimal label support meant those records barely reached a wide audience. Alternative rock circles embraced Big Star's heartfelt style. Power pop devotees rallied around songs such as September Girls, celebrating its luminous hooks and emotional depth. Later, R.E.M. and The Replacements openly praised Big Star's impact, helping spark fresh interest in this Memphis act's understated brilliance. Though Big Star eventually disbanded, reissues discovered new listeners who embraced the band's crisp harmonies and gentle melancholy. By weaving British invasion sparkle into American storytelling, they quietly shaped future indie power pop. Modern fans often marvel at how these recordings still shimmer with passion. Big Star's legacy stands as a reminder that sometimes the most influential music remains just beneath the popular radar, waiting for curious ears to discover it. Doesn't Big Star's underrated brilliance leave you wondering what other hidden treasures await? The Modern Lovers.
The housewife never seen something like that before. Housewives treat him like a stranger, they wish he were away.
Boston's early 70s scene birthed the Modern Lovers, led by Jonathan Richman's straightforward, fearless style. Their raw, stripped-down tunes pointed towards the future punk explosion, long before the word punk took hold. Classic tracks such as Roadrunner celebrated local highways with direct lyrics and pulsing rhythms. The group included future members of the Cars and Talking Heads, yet it disbanded early. Richmond shifted towards a gentler approach, causing friction that ended the original lineup before they could fully capitalize on the growing buzz. The self-titled album, recorded in 1972 but released years later, revealed an unwavering energy that avoided overproduction, embracing a raw, garage-like drive. Audiences found it refreshing. No overblown solos, just short, catchy songs laced with youthful wonder. This authenticity set the Modern Lovers apart from the era's larger-than-life rock acts. Over time, fans and musicians alike saw how their simplicity and honest spirit hinted at late 70s punk's do-it-yourself ethos. Feeling that raw, stripped-down energy? What could be even more daring next? Gentle Giant. During the rise of progressive rock, Gentle Giant stood out for bold, layered compositions without resorting to showy gimmicks. Founded by the Shulman brothers in Britain, they intertwined rock, Renaissance touches, and choral arrangements. Albums like Octopus, 1972, and In a Glass House, 1973, brimmed with complex vocals, shifting time signatures, and unexpected melodic turns. Radio playlists, fixated on simpler hooks, rarely embraced Gentle Giant's artful world. Nonetheless, a loyal fan base admired their unflinching creativity. Each band member could switch instruments, weaving in everything from clavichords to recorders, crafting a sonic puzzle that demanded close listening. While their sales never rivaled bigger prog outfits, their influence surfaced in countless groups who appreciated intricate, cohesive music. Gentle Giant's tracks showed that rock could be both ambitious and lively, a refreshing alternative to the standard verse-chorus-bridge format. Over time, their reputation grew among fans who value music that stimulates the brain as much as the heart. By the late 70s, they had moved towards more streamlined material. But that didn't erase the impact of earlier, more daring releases. Gentle Giant continues inspiring modern progressive and experimental acts, illustrating how boundary-pushing arrangements can enthrall listeners hungry for depth and imagination. Gentle Giant's intricate sound leaves us inspired. Next, prepare for Budgie's thunderous driving riffs. Budgie. Welsh trio Budgie helped lay the groundwork for metal's mighty roar through a blend of heavy riffs and singable hooks. Led by bassist and vocalist Burke Shelley, the band unveiled records like Never Turn Your Back on a Friend, 1973, filled with pounding guitars and dramatic shifts in tempo. Their track, Bread Fan, demonstrated an aggressive edge that future metal giants would adopt. Budgie, known for their powerful sound, was often overshadowed by better promoted acts. With limited radio support, they struggled to gain momentum beyond select fans who admired their sharp, driving style. Even so, those who discovered Budgie cherished the band's unique ability to marry intense crunch with melodic flair. As the years passed, more listeners recognized how pivotal Budgie's approach was for the evolution of hard rock and metal. Bands like Metallica gave nods to Budgie's pioneering energy, covering their songs and citing them as a key influence. Modern enthusiasts continue to highlight Budgie's role in bridging classic rock instincts and modern heaviness. Budgie's thunder paved roads for heavier acts, leading us to the next unstoppable force. The Groundhogs.
My garlands are overgrown, and the weeds are creeping up on my home.
With Tony McPhee at the helm, the Groundhogs unleashed an intense blend of blues and rock that influenced heavier, grittier styles. Early 70s releases, such as Thank Christ for the Bomb, 1970, and Split, 1971, showcased biting guitar, fervent rhythms, and lyrics that aimed for both heart and mind. McPhee's solos could veer between fiery outbursts and moody introspection, giving each track a sharp edge. Mainstream listeners seeking polished tunes often bypassed the Groundhogs' raw production and subversive streak. Still, the band built a sturdy reputation among fans who prized authentic, unfiltered energy. Critics praised the originality in McPhee's riffing and the group's willingness to stray beyond standard blues boundaries. Observers noticed hints of the Groundhogs in later punk and alternative acts that embraced direct, no-frills guitar work. Their limited commercial success never overshadowed their standing as a key link between traditional blues rock and the rawer sounds that followed. Even now, revisiting the Groundhogs remind us how fervent ambition and minimal frills can produce music that sears its way into rock history. The Groundhogs' gritty blues rock spirit fuels our journey. Keep watching, our biggest bombshell is still hidden in the depths. Captain Beyond. Forged from the remnants of Deep Purple and Iron Butterfly, Captain Beyond channeled progressive ideas and heavy rock into a cosmic blend. Their self-titled debut from 1972 boasted tracks that flowed seamlessly into each other, almost like a single interconnected suite. Former Deep Purple vocalist Rod Evans added a commanding presence, elevating songs with both power and subtlety. Unfortunately, Captain Beyond remains stuck in promotional limbo, leaving them to exist more as a hidden favorite than a chart-topping phenomenon. Listeners who struggled with their album, however, often hailed it as a deep, rewarding listen. The music meshed hard-driving grooves with flashes of psychedelia and shifting tempos, pointing towards spacey adventures rather than standard riffs. This approach won the respect of fans craving complexity within the heavier side of rock. Long after their short run, Captain Beyond's innovations found renewed appreciation among progressive circles. Their refusal to follow typical formulas remains a testament to the creative freedom bubbling under the decades of mainstream hits. Captain Beyond's spacey adventures lead the way. Next, we will see the dark, mysterious mood of Comus. Comus. Britain's Comus fused folk, rock, and eerie undertones to create something wholly unique during the early 70s. Their 1971 debut, First Utterance, turned stories of unsettling subjects with piercing vocal harmonies and acoustic instruments that alternated between pastoral calm and raw intensity. The atmospheric approach perplexed mainstream audiences, yet captivated adventurous ears. Critics were unsure how to classify Comus, and record stores struggled to shelve them. Despite, or perhaps because of, that difficulty, their music found a small but genuine fan base, intrigued by the band's odd rhythms and dark format bent. Over the following decades, artists seeking to explore the edges of folk or progressive styles discovered Comus as trailblazers who embraced both beauty and dread. They did not last long, but the group's mysterious presence never fully faded. Occasional reunions and renewed interest from the niche labels helped preserve First Utterance as a cult gem. In a decade bursting with musical exploration, Comus stands out for delivering into shadowy corners where few others dared to venture. Curved Air's fusion of classical and experimental rock takes us on an unexpected ride. The next acts will shatter your expectations in ways you never imagined. Curved Air. London's Curved Air offered an artistic melding of rock, classical hits, and psychedelic flourishes. Vocalist Sonia Christina fronted the band alongside violinist Daryl Way, and their skillful interplay was on display in albums like Air Conditioning, 1970, and Phantasmagoria, 1972. This mix of violin runs, dramatic vocals, and layered keyboards forged an ethereal vibe that appealed to lovers of experimental rock. At the same time, casual listeners sometimes found Curved Air's style too intricate for everyday listening. The band sat between mainstream's accessibility and pure prog indulgence, carving out its own space. Live shows brought theatrical energy, pairing sonic explorations with eye-catching presentations. Their influence seeped into subsequent prog acts that appreciated the union of classical instrumentation and rock's electric drive. Even though Curved Air didn't dominate the charts, devotees embraced their balance of melodic grace and boundary-pushing complexity. The band's continued presence through various reformations confirms that their creative vision still resonates with those hunting for something beyond standard rock formulas. Curved Air's unique mix of classical elements and progressive rock opens up a world of unexpected artistry. Don't blink. Our next act is ready to leap into the world of raw, experimental power. Can. German outfit Can championed an immersive brand of krautrock that combined extended jams, driving beats, and unconventional textures. Holger Czukay, Ermin Schmidt, Michael Caroli, and Jackie Liebzeit led the band's open-minded sessions, producing albums like Tagomago, 1971, and Ege Bamyasi, 1972. Their willingness to explore spontaneous grooves made each track feel alive with experimentation. Commercial radio rarely touched these marathon pieces, but Can's cult following admired the group's focus on rhythm and atmosphere. Jackie Liebzeit's drumming, in particular, provided a hypnotic pulse that bridged rock's raw energy with future dance or electronic evolutions. While other progressive bands leaned on grass solos, Can preferred collective improvisations, forging a unity that felt both unpredictable and cohesive. Over time, this approach influenced genres from post-punk to techno, underscoring the band's broad reach. Listeners who stumble upon Can's records often marvel at how fresh it still sounds, decades after release. For those craving something beyond standard guitar solos, Can offers a gateway to sonic possibilities that few other 70s acts even approached. Can multicolored jams push rock to new frontiers? Get ready for another spacey jump and let your curiosity lead the way. Hawkwind. If there's a band that truly embraced space rock, it's Hawkwind. Emerging from Britain at the dawn of the 70s, They aim to flood ears with repetitive grooves, swirling electronic effects, and sci-fi themes. Albums like Search of Space, 1971, and Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do, 1972, enveloped listeners in a trance-like swirl, punctuated by driving bass lines and cosmic lyrics. On stage, the group's psychedelic light shows and theatrical elements solidified their status among fans who wanted total immersion. Lemmy Kilmister's tenure on the bass also added grit, foreshadowing his later Motorhead success. Though mainstream exposure remained limited, some found Hawkwind's approach too bizarre. Those seeking a primal yet futuristic vibe flocked to their releases. Hawkwind's blueprint inspired stoner rock, industrial, and even alternative bands aiming for hypnotic repetition. Their stability, despite shifting lineups, proves that cosmic dreams can persist if the core vision remains. Hawkwind offered an escape from typical rock constraints, guiding listeners on a far-out voyage that endures to this day. Hawkwind's amazing live shows and futuristic sounds push rock into new dimensions. Time to look into the wild world of Captain Beefheart and his magic band. Captain Beefheart and his magic band.
Till the day that love came to play.
Led by Don Van Vliet, better known as Captain Beefheart, this American group fused rock, blues, and abstract poetry in a way few dared to attempt. Although their masterpiece, Trout Mask Replica, appeared in 1969, they continued evolving through the early 70s, refining a style that combined Jagger guitar lines, off-kilter rhythms, and gravel-throated vocals. Traditional hooks were scarce and replaced by a freer, more challenging approach. Such experimentation never translated to mass commercial triumph. Yet the band's underground influence spread steadily. Punk, new wave, and avant rock all borrowed from Captain Beefheart's fearless spirit. Albums like Lick My Decals Off Baby showcased further expansions of their offbeat structures, appealing to listeners eager for music that broke typical boundaries. Although they eventually disbanded, fans still marvel at the magic band's audacity. Musicians who chase fresh ideas often look back to Captain Beefheart for lessons in creative defiance. If standard radio-friendly rock feels too safe, diving into these records can be a life-changing experience, an earful of bizarre rhythms and shattered expectations that reveal hidden corners of rock's potential. Captain Beefheart's music challenged every rule and left a legacy that still fascinates. Can the final rock band of the 1970s top his defiant legacy? The Rezillos. Scottish group The Rezillos combined punk's punch with pop's fun, emerging in the late 70s as a bright alternative to heavier, darker trends. Their 1978 album, Can't Stand the Rezillos, bristled with snappy riffs, quick tempos, and cheeky lyrics that displayed a wry sense of humor. Tracks like Flying Saucer Attack and Top of the Pops offered a cheerful counterpoint to gloomier peers. The Rezillos earned a dedicated following, but the band parted ways too soon, preventing them from capitalizing on their momentum outside the UK. Those who witnessed their high-energy shows recalled the band's irreverent flair and flashy style. The breezy approach left a mark on new wave and pop power acts, seeking to blend upbeat melodies with a dash of punk edge. Over the years, sporadic reunions kept the band's spirit alive. Fans remained drawn to the Rezillos' playful attitude, seeing them as a reminder that rebellious rock can also be lighthearted. Though their initial lifespan was short, the group's catchy tunes and vibrant persona ensure they remain a key footnote in 70s music history. Each rock band offered something distinctive, from bold experimental jams to riff-heavy power pop. Explore their albums and keep spreading the word. Sometimes the most remarkable music hides in plain sight, waiting for curious ears to find it.